Welcome. I'm Debi Lilly with Debi Lilly Design, and we are so excited about tonight's 10-year holiday event. It's a live experience, and we welcome all of you Albertsons guests, all of you For You members, all of the Fresh Pass subscribers. This is an exclusive event, which is just another perk of Fresh Pass, and there are so many benefits to Fresh Pass: unlimited free delivery on grocery orders over $30, 5% off O Organics and Open Nature products. You're going to see so many of those tonight in our event. The loyalty program For You. And then, of course, most importantly, all of the easy shopping coast to coast in the Albertsons family stores. There's great free items each month. There's birthday treats. There's earning points, and of course there's the great app. All of these are making grocery shopping a little more fun, a little more fresh and easy, and we're here tonight to really kick off the holiday season. You know, the ultimate gift of the holidays is just being together. After last year and everyone really having to socially distance, this year we can be together and we can gather around the table once again with our friends and family. So tonight we're going to share with you all kinds of grocery to gorgeous tips, tricks, so that you can have a really beautiful holiday styled up at your home or gifts to take to other parties. We're here to share. So again, please feel free to ask questions as we go along. We want to answer your questions. We want to help you have the perfect holiday. That's why we're all here tonight. Now, one of my favorite things about entertaining is always beautiful flowers and creating a wow moment. It's so nice to have something in your home when you welcome people, or even a wow gift if you're taking something to someone. And our Debi Lilly Design flowers are just that. They are farm fresh, right in the floral department, so that you can grab a bouquet that's very chic. We've always pulled really European designs into our flower recipes and our bouquets, and we want you to be able to take it home and do something as simple as picking your favorite bouquet right in the store and then bringing it home and just chopping it and dropping it right into a vase. So here we have some really beautiful bouquets for the holidays. I love the texture. That's a really big trend in floral. Lots of texture. We have some beautiful billy balls. Does everyone love billy balls? You often see them as yellow, but here for the holiday bouquet, they're white. We have some gorgeous summer stock. That's one of my favorite flowers, very bright and fluffy. We have some red roses. We have some mums, some lilies, and I want to show you how easy it is to grab your bouquet, unwrap it, and put it together at home. Our vases this season are in all different shapes, colors, sizes. Again, colors, bold pops of colors is a really big trend. I think after the global pandemic, everyone wants a little color. They want a little bright, happy joy inside their home. You can also go really neutral, and that's another big trend. These ball or mason jars are a really great classic traditional piece that we're always trying to refresh and update each season because they're such a crowd favorite. So they say believe, joy. They come in white, green, red, all those bright holiday colors. You can take your vase, fill it up with water, then you can take your bouquet, and it's just as simple as chopping and dropping it right into the vase. So we'll just cut our stems, and one trick that's really great to remember is when you're cutting flowers, instead of cutting your stems straight, cut them on an angle. What that does is it helps the bouquet or the stems of flowers drink more water. It increases the surface area. So as I'm cutting, show you guys a good example. We are not going to cut straight. We are actually going to cut on an angle. Let's show you right here on this one. Instead of cutting straight like this, we're going to cut on an angle, and that's going to give us a bigger surface area for our blooms to drink in our vase. Another really great trick is to, as you're creating your floral, you can start with your large flowers first. So I'll start with some of these greens because these are really big and full. And I'm going to drop them right here into the vase, and you can sort of make sure as you're designing that any leaves that will be down below the water are pulled off, just like you see here. Number 1, cut your stems on an angle. Number 2, remove any leaves that will be down below the water because those can grow bacteria. And obviously, we want our flowers to last as long as possible. So I put in some really pretty green. Now I'm going to put in some red dianthus. Another really great pretty texture. And sometimes things are sticking up and out of the vase instead of having the blooms rest right down at the lip of the vase. So you can always cut things twice. I say always err on cutting it conservatively since you can cut it again if you need to. Now we also have some really beautiful summer stock. This is the one I mentioned is such a favorite. It's so nice and fluffy. And you can see we're just kind of dropping each piece in one by one. You can put the whole bouquet in at once if you'd rather, but we want to teach you tips and tricks, so we're going to do them one by one. And I like to keep things almost like a V as I'm designing. Some things are leaning to the right, some things are leaning to the left. That's another big trend in floral right now is that V design, so it's not perfectly round, has a little shape and a little movement to it. These are what I mentioned I love so much as well, the billy balls. They kind of look like snowballs on a stick. We'll tuck those right in. We'll tuck one in left. We'll tuck one in right. We also have some really beautiful red roses. And a great trick to remember about the roses is anytime they're real tight, see how this rose is quite closed and tight? You can blow on it to help open it up. You can also just kind of open it up with your fingers by going around the petal and just gently pulling it open a little bit. You could also reflex the roses. That's where you actually bend them back, and that makes your flower about twice as large. Show you what you can do there. So these are things that you can do if you want your roses to be a little larger in your vase. I see that we have a question.
Danny would like to ask a question. She says that your bouquets are beautiful and asks for your recommendation on knowing where to cut stems for each vase.
Danny, thank you so much for your question. I would love to answer that. So as you see, you can cut them in a different variety of lengths depending on what works for you. I love to have as many of the flowers as we can down lower at the lip of the vase, but then also have some a little higher, which is why I'm cutting them one by one. So you see here, for example, we have some taller in the back, some lower in the front, some leaning to the left, some leaning to the right. I think that it's nice to have them alternate a little bit, some lower, some taller. If you have smaller, more delicate flowers like these dianthus, those could be lower in the front. When you have bigger, taller, fuller flowers like the rose or the mums, you could have those in the back. That's a great question. I'll put in just a few more to show you how you can finish this off. But what's great about our bouquets, well, there's a lot of things, but one of my favorite details about our bouquets is how many stems are in each bouquet. Here we have done really almost a full vase with about half of the bouquet. So you can easily create one piece, you can create multiple smaller pieces, you can use these beautiful vases that are right in the flower department, or you can pull your own glasses right off of your shelf in the kitchen and use those like little bud vases. The last little bit that I'll do, because I think it's so pretty and so fresh, is to add in some of the pine tips. These to me give it a really nice finished look. And then you can also use these in so many other ways. For example, we can tuck them right here. I like to tuck a little bit of green accent often in the front. If it's too big of a piece, look how easy it is to just break it apart into multiple pieces. It gives it a really nice finished cuff all around the edge of the vase. You could also take some of your pine and you could tie it to gifts, like a little gift topper. You could put it on top of your napkin if you're having a dinner party for a pretty little touch at the table. There's so many ways to use all the parts that come in the bouquet. So this is just one fast and easy vase using our beautiful holiday greens. Here you can see we partnered the vases with the bouquets, and we also created a pretty little DIY votive candle. What you can do if you love crafting up and creating things at home is really look inside your kitchen. Again, open your kitchen cabinets. Let's grab a juice glass or a water glass. Then you can open up your pantry. You could grab some sugar. Sugar instantly makes for a really pretty snow effect in the bottom of clear glass vases. So we're just going to pour a little bit of this in. Again, here's our favorite oat organics right off the grocery shelf. Going to give it a little shake so it's nice and smooth. And then in the floral department, we have beautiful flowers. We've talked about that. We have beautiful vases, but we also have really incredible candles. These are the balsam and cedar. Green is such a huge trend this season. Everybody wants to bring the outside inside, and green is a very organic, calming, neutral color. So what you can do is grab these beautiful little tea lights. What I love about these, so many tea lights are in silver metal cups. I love that these are clear cups instead of silver cups because it really shows off the color of the candle instead of looking like a little metal insert. The scent of these is so wonderful. I wish you had smell-o-vision so you could smell how great it is in here. And you can just drop that, sort of nestle it right into the sugar snow. And then you can light these for a very pretty little accent between your vases down the table. If you have a round table, you might want to do one big centerpiece with a lot of candles around it. If you have a long, narrow table, you might want to do a collection like this with candles tucked in around it. And what's nice about a collection of smaller vases is it's a great party trick. You can easily then have your guests take those home. You know, this guest takes this one and this guest takes this one. They become party favors right out of your floral decor budget. So that's a great little trick that I always love to share. Another favorite candle and holiday gift for this season are our pretty wood wick candles. These crackle like a fire. They have a really wonderful effect, like when you light a fire and you hear that crackly sound. And I'll just show you, I know it might be hard to hear the crackle, but it has a really big, beautiful flame. They smell incredible. Again, everything that you are seeing here, vases, candles, come in red, come in green, come in white, so that you can really work with your own home's holiday decor. Or if you're going to a party or you're wanting to give a gift, these candles make the greatest stocking stuffer and hostess gift. And you could choose the guest of honor or your friend or family's favorite color. So this is another really fun trick right from the grocery aisles for the holidays. I have one more decor trick for you, and that is we have some really beautiful glass vases. What I love about our collection is we're always making sure that everything can be used in lots of different ways, multi-purpose we call it, so that these can be a vase. You fill them with water, you fill them with flowers, or you could fill one with little cookies and one with candy. You could buy multiple and have a whole collection of them filled with cookies and candy for an instant dessert buffet. Or you can turn these into lanterns, and much like we did with the juice glass, creating a votive, here again we can just pour some sugar, or we'll pretend it's snow, right into these. What that does is, number one, I think it gives it a very pretty finishing detail, adds a little bit of a layer, but it also helps flatten the bottom. You know, not every vase is perfectly flat on the bottom. And then we have wonderful pillar candles. So we talked about the little tea lights or votives. There's also a small and a large in the pillar candle. Again, the balsam and cedar smells so great. And you'll remove the wrapping, of course. It's like a clear protective wrapping so the wax doesn't get scratched. This one, the large, burns for 90 hours. That's 90. That's a nice long burn time to get us through the holidays, don't you think? And you can drop the large right into the large vase, and then you can drop the small. Again, always make sure to remove the plastic. We always want to make sure everybody's nice and safe. You'll drop the small right into the small vase. Make sure they're nice and flat so they burn evenly. That's a really great trick to keeping your candles burning as long as possible, is to make sure they're always sitting flat. And also, make sure that they're not in a spot that has a lot of breeze or air so that they burn nice and evenly. So that, I think, is a really fun, jolly decor piece that you could have on your coffee table or your end table, or again, a great gift. Now let's talk a little bit about making a showstopper edible centerpiece. There are so many desserts that you can make. Baking is such a huge part of the holidays, but one of my favorite things to bake is a really wonderful strawberry almond cake, and it's just as easy as mixing up my favorite yellow cake mix. This is by Open Nature. It is gluten-free. I don't know about you, but I have a gluten-free husband and 2 kids who are celiac. They cannot have any flour, and boy, don't I love that I can run right into the grocery, right in the baking aisle, and grab really, healthy, natural mixes that are time-saving, but that also taste delicious. But here's what I love to do to really kind of zhuzh this one up a little bit. You'll take the box, you'll pour the mix right into the bowl, which I've done already here. Then you'll follow the directions. We've got 2/3 cup of milk, so we'll go ahead and pour that in. That's 1/3, 2/3. Then we also have 1 stick of softened butter, which we have right here. I'm going to pull this back a little bit. Everybody, make sure you let me know if I move anything in the wrong spot. Then we also have 3 eggs. We'll crack those right in. Does everybody love baking at the holidays? I have 2 teenagers who bake like crazy. And so baking is such a favorite activity for us to do all together. I find it really brings everybody together in the kitchen, gets the kids turned off the electronics so we can all just spend some time together doing something fun. I feel like it's such a great tradition for the holidays, baking. I grew up doing it myself with my grandmother, with my mother, with my aunts, with my friends. And now we've followed the mix. We've put in the cake mix, we've added the milk, we've added the butter, we've added the 3 eggs. Now here's where we're going to really kick it up a notch. We're going to take one of the O Organics vanilla beans. I don't know about you, but the smell of a vanilla bean is really incredible. Just popping the lid off of this is incredible. And we are going to scrape out the vanilla and give this strawberry almond cake a little extra vanilla taste. Right here is good, everybody can see right here. And all you do is open up the vanilla bean jar, then you're going to place it on a cutting board. You're going to cut lengthwise down the vanilla. It's a little wiggly, so be careful, watch your fingers. You're going to open the vanilla bean up, and all of the delicious vanilla bean paste is right inside. And we're going to scrape that out. We're going to add that right into our boxed mix. And it's going to give it a really incredible, delicious taste. So we ripped our vanilla bean in half. Now we're just going to scrape with our knife down one side. We're going to scrape with our knife down the other side. We're going to take our other half. We're going to scrape down this side. And last, the last side. Then we're going to put that right here in our mix. The cake mix already has vanilla in it, but I find that this fresh vanilla bean really adds something special, as does this last secret ingredient. I take it back. I have 2 more secret ingredients. This one is a Signature Select Pure Almond Extract. Do you guys like almond? I love almond. Obviously, if you have any allergies to nuts, this probably is a skip. Don't add this part. But if you don't have an allergy to nuts, this almond smells so good. Just in prepping the event tonight, this kitchen has smelled incredible, and it's only because of this one ingredient, this almond oil. Now, you could measure this out, but personally, I just do a big splash, kind of like 1, 2. If you like it as much as I do, you could do a second little splash. We're going to add that in, and I have one more secret ingredient. And this one comes from my dad. My dad loves to cook, and he adds lemon zest to so many of his desserts, and it really transforms it. So we're going to add zest into our mix, and all we're going to do is take a lemon, we're going to zest it with a zester right into the mix. You'll just go around until you see the white pith. Once you see the white pith, you'll turn the lemon. The white pith is a little bitter and doesn't add that big lemon pop of flavor like the actual rind does. So you'll just keep going around. Keep those questions coming, friends. Let's talk about baking. What baking questions do you have? Cooking, entertaining, setting the table, flowers, trends. Happy to talk about trends. Like yesterday, the Pantone for 2022 was launched. Did anybody see that? The trend for 2022 is very Perry, which is basically like a periwinkle purple, lilac-y lavender. It's a little strong for a lavender, a little more like a bluey periwinkle. Okay, we've got that all ground in, zested in, and then we'll go ahead and start to stir. Now you can use your mixer. I personally always like to do all my mixing by hand if I can, and this is such a smooth cake mix that it really does mix up perfectly just by hand. It's a little better arm workout this way, less dirty dishes this way. I'm always all about those 2 things. So we're just going to mix it up, and you can smell the almond oil, you can smell the lemon zest. It smells incredible. I feel like baking is such a great way to spend time together. Neighbors, family, friends, everybody loves baking. You could get people together, have a little baking afternoon. Everybody takes bites of things that you have made home. Just earlier today, I was at a neighbor's. She made Rosemary Shortbread. It was incredible. For anyone who wants that recipe, I will be posting it on Instagram tomorrow because it was so great. I'll post some pictures and some recipe ideas for that. Another easy one to make gluten-free. Okay, we have whipped up our batter. And I know it might not be easy to see, but the real difference here is there's a lot of speckles of the fresh vanilla bean. There's a lot of lemon zest from our zesting of the lemon. And you can smell not only the lemon, but the really incredible almond oil. So now this would just get poured right into our cake pan. We have a really important detail to share, and that is anytime you're baking a cake in a cake pan, make sure to spray, 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 spray. I love using the cooking spray and doing it very heavy because then it pops right out of the pan, and I'll show you what I mean. Normally I pour this into a pan, put it in the oven, and bake it according to the directions on the package. But today, only because we have just a short amount of time together tonight, we're going to fast track it, and we have already baked the cake and dropped it right here on a cake stand. You can see this is our first layer. What we did is we took a couple of boxes, we put them together in a big bowl, and we baked in total 3 cakes. So you can do that by buying 3 boxes and doing 3 different cakes, or you can buy a couple boxes and just divide it between a couple pans. So tonight I did 2 boxes and I divided it up between 3 pans. And you can see they're quite thick. So I think that's a really easy way to make a 3-layer cake. So we've let our cakes cool. We have put the first one right here on our cake stand. And now we're going to add our icing. This is another really great Grocery to Gorgeous, fast and easy way to make your own icing. The Open Nature buttercream frosting and vanilla. Again, what you can do when you make this is you can add a vanilla bean to this as well. Again, you'll buy the jar of vanilla bean, you'll cut it open down the middle, you'll use your knife to, spread, pull the innards of the vanilla bean out, and then put it right into your icing. So here we've got our icing already made, and we're just going to ice our first layer. This is going to be a 3-layer cake. So this is icing, again, 3 boxes of icing that we made to help save time. And we're going to put a big smear on. I don't know about you, but I like a very nice amount of icing, not too little, not too much. And you can use a spatula like this to help spread it. You could use the back of a spoon if you don't have a spreader. The important thing is that you just spread it around on top of the cake and you go all the way to the edges, because once we set our second cake on top, you're not going to see in the center of the cake, you're only going to see the edges. So I just push it around toward the edge a couple of times, put a little more on. As you can see, there's plenty of icing. We don't need to skimp on that. And what we could do here is a couple of different things. We could go ahead and add some fresh fruit like strawberries into this layer and then do our next cake, etc., repeating. But I'm going to save our strawberries for the top just because of time and wanting to share lots of ideas on this event tonight. But know that you can easily layer your cake, your icing, and your fruit like strawberries if you'd like. Now, another really great trick that we're going to do, because it makes it so delicious, is we are going to zest a lemon in between each layer. And what you'll find when you do that is, number 1, your house smells incredible, and number 2, your cake, again, just bursts with flavor when you serve it. I make this cake pretty much all the time. Every dinner party or birthday party or anything that I go to, people ask me to please bring the strawberry almond cake, and it's this easy. You guys, it is the easiest thing you could ever bake, but it's so beautiful. So we baked our cakes, we have popped one onto our cake stand, we've spread our icing, we've zested a lemon. Guess what it's time for? We're going to do cake number 2. And because we really heavily oiled our pan, look how easy it popped out. I did not use a knife. I did not pre-do anything. That is how easy it pops right out. We're going to put that cake on top of our icing and lemon. And you guessed it, we're going to do that again. Another big dollop of icing. Hello, do we have a question?
I have a couple questions.
Oh, I'm ready.
Evie is asking if you can taste the lemon in the cake.
Evie, I promise you one thing. You can taste the lemon in the cake, and you can taste the lemon zested on top of the cake. And I think that's everybody's favorite thing about this cake. Well, there's a lot of things. People love the lemon, people love the almond, and people love the vanilla. Yes is the answer.
Deborah is asking if you have tried the Lavender Shortbread cookies.
I have. The Lavender Shortbread cookies. Now, my neighbor today made Rosemary Shortbread cookies, but I think what Deborah's saying is there's also Lavender Shortbread cookies. Wow, okay, Deborah, I have not tasted those, and because I'm a florist and I love everything flowery, I can tell you right now that I will love the Lavender Shortbread cookies, and if you have a recipe for those, Deborah, I would love to get it from you. I'm on Instagram, Debi Lilly. I would love to chat with you guys and share recipes and talk holidays, and if you guys are sharing anything about the event tonight, which we'd love for you to do, we encourage you to use hashtag Debi Lilly Design or hashtag FreshPass so that we can all enjoy your beautiful posts and photos. Now, guess what we're going to do? We're going to zest on top of this layer also. I'm just using 1 lemon now for these in-between layers. I guess you could have too much lemon, although I don't know if I've ever had too much lemon in my whole life. Have you guys? Love lemon. And if you don't like lemon, clearly you can just skip this step. If you don't like almond, you could clearly skip adding that in. If you don't love extra vanilla, you could skip adding that in. It's really easy to adjust this so that it works really well for you and your taste. My cakes are nice and cool, you can tell, because they're so easy to move around. That's the great important reason that you always let a cake cool before you ice the cake. So here we're going to add the last of our icing. And I hope you can see this comes together so quickly, so easily, and again, just tastes great. We'll put this last icing on. We'll spread that around. I feel like your top tier of icing, the top of your cake and the icing is the most important tier to make sure that you have a lot of icing. So many times I'll think, oh, I don't want to use too much, and then I feel like I should have added more. It's a nice scale, it's a nice balance. You want everything to work together. And what we're going to do last is add on all of our fresh strawberries. Now we could be done. That could be our cake right there. Very pretty. But I think it's even prettier to take some fresh strawberries. We've got a whole pint here. And we'll take our knife and we can cut them in half. A whole strawberry never looks quite as pretty as a half a strawberry. So we'll cut these. They're already washed, and I patted them dry so they weren't wet. Got a little vanilla bean on my knife, which, oops, and I have a bad strawberry there, which I'm seeing fresh vanilla bean on top of my strawberries. And you just tuck these on top. If you had really little strawberries, like we often have in the summer, you could leave some whole. But I think it looks so pretty to slice them in half. You have a little more color, and you just stack them all on top, often facing forward. Yes, do we have another question?
We do, from Jeff. Jeff had asked, when you're setting the table with polished centerpieces, whether it's flowers or cakes, how do you set the table so you can see your guests?
That is a great question, Jeff. What I think is really important, there's a very special rule about this, and the rule is that if this is the table, nothing should be taller than your forearm so that it's easy to see over. Like, for example, here we have this vase here, and we'll put it next to my forearm, and you can see it's about the same length, meaning it would be really easy to take one of our bouquets, chop it, drop it, put it right into a vase, and then have it be the perfect height for you to be able to see over. I'll also say I think these make great hostess gifts. It's always nice to take someone flowers. They always love them, but it's also really nice to already take them in water, because I'm sure you've been having a party and someone brings you flowers and you sort of have to stop what you're doing and put them in water and find a vase and fill it up, etc., etc. So I always love taking someone flowers in water as a nice little shortcut. Yes, do we have another question?
Yes, the other question is it true that white flowers symbolize peace and yellow symbolizes friendship? Is that true?
You know, there are so many different symbolisms for flowers. I could talk about it. We could have a whole nother event about that. Wouldn't that be fun? We should think about that one for Valentine's Day, since that's such a big flowery holiday. There are different meanings for every color. There's different meanings for every type of flower. So yes, I do think those are absolutely true. I think that red can symbolize love, pink can symbolize hope. There's just all sorts of different really fun age-old sort of stories behind meanings and colors and types of flowers. A lot of flowers and their meanings started in ancient Rome which is really fun. If you're ever, needing something to do, you can do some Googling about what all the different original names and histories and traditions of flowers mean. Now I'm adding the last of my strawberries, and you can see I'm going to turn some the other way just for a little variation. They were looking like they needed a little pop of color. We could leave some whole if you want. I'll add one of those in whole so you can see what that looks like. And anyway, this is, I think, a very pretty, a very delicious, and a very fast and easy to make cake and centerpiece. When you put this on top of your table, it becomes a beautiful showstopper on your table that you can then serve and eat for dessert. It's really fun to do with the kids because it's so easy. There's sort of no wrong way to do it. And of course, the very last thing we'll do, guess what it is? We will zest one more lemon right on top of the cake. I feel like that finishes it off, adds a little special something, and adds a lot of flavor. You could also add in fresh mint if you wanted. You could do red, white, and blue for a fun patriotic holiday. You could also do raspberries, blueberries, blackberries. If someone's birthday is coming up or someone has a favorite fruit, you could add that on. I've also done it with pecans and caramel, and you can shave chocolate on the top. There's sort of no wrong way to do it. But there, voila, is the strawberry almond cake that is really, really yummy. My neighbor that made the Rosemary Shortbread today said that she was coming over as soon as we finish this tonight to take it home because she's having a party tomorrow. She's already claimed it for herself. All right, I'm going to clean up my mess a little bit, and let's move on to another fun detail, and that is Hostess Gifts. We talked a bit about flowers and candles as Hostess Gifts. You won't believe it, but I honestly take this cake to so many people's houses. It's a little tricky to travel with in the car, but if you hold it on your lap, it does work, and that is a great Hostess gift. But also, did you know that right inside the grocery are a lot of my favorite gifts to give? And I want to show you just a few of them. One is champagne. Everybody loves champagne. I feel like the holidays, New Year's, these are the big, big champagne giving occasions. Again, we have Valentine's Day coming up, so that's another big one. And I want to show you how easy it is to take a beautiful bottle of champagne. This is the Signature Reserve California Brut. What I really love about this one is it is made in California, made in the USA, but it is made exactly the way French champagne is made in France. 80% Chardonnay grapes, 20% Pinot Noir grapes, and it is in the bottle with the yeast for 19 months. Again, those are what make French champagne so delicious, and the exact same is right here in this bottle, which I think is so incredible. So you can grab one of these right off the shelf. You can take some pretty ribbon. You can add a beautiful bow right to the top. I'll share a few tips and tricks about making bows. Number one, give yourself a long piece of ribbon. I think that's the number one mistake people make is they don't cut a long enough piece of ribbon. Number two, tie it nice and tight around the neck. Do one bunny ear, two bunny ears. Pull it nice and tight. And here again, a really great tip is keep your loops nice and even and nice and full. Some people have them too long, they're hanging halfway down the bottle. Some people have them too short. I love having a little extra hanging off the ends, and guess what we can do? We can take a beautiful piece of pine from one of our bouquets, and we can tuck it right in and under for the perfect little champagne garnish. How fast and easy was that? It looks great, it's ready for gifting, it tastes great, really perfect gift to give. Another one that I love is olive oil. I was first gifted olive oil last holiday season when I had a little party and some neighbors over, and I was really excited to get olive oil. So this one is one of my favorites. It's cold pressed. I love doing a little collection of olive oils, vinegars, salt and pepper right on top of my kitchen counter. This one is so fancy and so beautiful looking, it really begs to not be put into your pantry. Again, you could easily throw ribbon right on top. This is another favorite gift of mine to give. And these are, again, are all Signature Reserve. They're all right in the grocery aisles. But look at this one. You could put these three together. It's kind of like a perfect trio of flavors. And let me tell you what we have here. We have 3 varietal marinated mushrooms in oil. We have Pomodoro bruschetta topping. And last we have olive tapenade. So all of these not only look great as a gift, you know, put them together like this, wrap them up, put a bow on top, and you have like a fun little antipasto bar ready to give. But also, if you're not looking for hostess gifts, these are also really great pantry staples. Keep these in your pantry. How many times do you unexpectedly have someone come to your door and you really don't have anything to put out on the table? When you stock the pantry with things like this, just these 3 and some crackers, a great cheese in the refrigerator, you instantly can pull these out and have little Spanish tapas style bites right on your counter. I have one more fun little gift or stock the pantry. And I don't know about you, but I love caramels. I try not to eat sugar. I'm a party planner, so it's really hard not to eat sugar, number 1. But number 2, caramels are my weakness. They're like my kryptonite. And these are dark chocolate sea salt caramels. And again, let me just show you how pretty it is to add a ribbon and dress this up. These are not only really, really tasty, but a great gift that you could keep stocked, that you could have in the pantry. You could pull out and serve with some cookies. You could take over to the neighbors. We're just going to take some ribbon again. We're going to make it nice and long again. We're going to go around. We could go vertical. We could go horizontal. We'll go ahead and go vertical. This is like ready for gifting. You don't need to wrap it. We're all trying to be green. We're all trying to be environmentally friendly. You can just add a ribbon. I always stock up on pretty ribbons, and we have really beautiful ribbon right in the floral department. If you don't see it, you can ask any of the floral team members to help you with some ribbon. For the holidays, it's great to buy a couple rolls, just like we're using here. Add that pretty ribbon to everything. And of course, what are we going to do last? We'll add a nice little piece of pine. These come right out of the floral bouquets. We'll tuck it right in. Ready for a stocking or ready for gifting. Okay, we have one more recipe. Yes, do we have another question?
What is your favorite flower and why?
My favorite flower, it's almost like picking a favorite child. It's a little bit hard for me, but I'm going to say Lily of the Valley is my very favorite flower. It reminds me of my grandmother Gigi. It reminds me of my wedding day. I carried a huge bunch of it for my bridal bouquet. And last, it smells incredible, just incredible. I also love peonies. I also love garden roses. I also love hydrangea. I could go on and on and on. So let's do this. Let's do one more fun DIY and recipe that we can make. It's great for serving. It's great for gifting. And these are called charcuterie. We've all heard of charcuterie with a CH, but have you heard of charcuterie, where instead of making a really big board, you make little mini jars? And guess what? If you don't have jars, you can just grab glasses right out of your kitchen pantry. I took these right off the shelf here, and I think smaller glasses are better. We have so many different, really beautiful and really delicious items ready to grab, go, bring home, unwrap, and put onto a charcuterie board or into little glasses. So let's start with the biggest item. It's just like when we do flowers. We're going to start with the biggest item and put that in the glass first. We have grissini, really yummy Signature Select grissini. These to me are a great party hack or a catering hack because no matter what you're doing, if you open these up, and even for a wine bar, Just put them right into a glass. They look beautiful and they taste delicious. These taste like they're, out of a very fancy restaurant. There's so many fancy restaurants that takes a big handful of these like this and puts them right into a glass like this. Give it a little shake, and look at that. It's ready for a really fun snack. If you're having a holiday feast, if you're sitting down at a table, you can put vases, or glasses, I should say, of these around your flowers, your candles. It has that sort of like Tuscan feast vibe to it. That's one thing you can do with them. But let's get back to our charcuterie, because these are nice and big. I'm going to break these in half, and I'm going to put a couple of these in the jars. We'll go ahead and we'll make 2 charcuterie at a time. Show you how fast it is to make these. This is a great trend that's come out of COVID, because in COVID, especially when you were having a party, you didn't want a lot of hands touching things. You wanted everything to be sort of individual, safer, feels a little healthier. So that's where charcuterie came from, and I think it's such a great idea. So number 1, we've got our grissini. Number 2, let's go to our next large item. I think we'll do some tomatoes. We've got a O Organics cherry tomato medley here. And we could do this a few different ways, so I'll show it to you 2 different ways. You could take a handful. I love the tricolor of these. Really pops and looks pretty. And you could throw a couple of them in the bottom like that. Or another idea, you could take a skewer and you could skewer them, alternating your color, orange, red, yellow, and that could be coming out of the jar. And that's another really fun thing to do, is you can toss things in, you can skewer things. There's, again, no wrong way to do this. Now let's go to a delicious cheese, which is mozzarella and prosciutto, and it's rolled up. I'm going to show you how fun this is. We'll take our cutting board, we'll take our knife, and you can make almost like big slices of this. Because it is a roll, what does that mean? That means that it looks really pretty. Look at that. Isn't that fun? And you can tuck these right in. Let's do a couple of these. It's nice when you're entertaining, when you're cooking, to really make everything look delicious, because you eat with your eyes first, as I'm sure you've heard before. And so when you have something that's a party hack, or a catering hack, I'll call it. I'm a party planner, so I'm always looking for ways to help our clients do something quickly, do something easily, do something affordably, do something that's accessible. That's why I love working with Albertsons, and I'm so passionate about our collection and our long history of working with them for 10 holiday seasons, because they make it so easy. The food is so delicious. I'm often in the store 3 times a day for different parties. Sometimes I have one grocery cart that is so overflowing, I have to check out, put it in my cart, come back in and fill up a second grocery cart. I won't tell you how often that happens, but it's a lot. Again, I'm just in awe of how pretty these are and how easy it is to just slice it right off of this roll. So we'll go ahead and put those in. Keep your questions coming, friends, and I can't wait to hopefully see lots of photos, not only of what we're doing together tonight, but when you recreate all of these favorite recipes. I can't wait to see what you guys do with our flowers, with our ideas, with our tips and tricks. Now, let's go to something really crispy and crunchy and delicious, the Open Nature Cheddar Cheese Crisps. These are another great party hack. You could make these from scratch if you wanted to. You're welcome to. But if you don't have time to shave your cheddar into beautiful little bits on a cookie sheet and bake it to make crackers, guess what? You can just buy this bag, and they're perfect little rounds, and we can tuck these in. It's always nice to do things in odd numbers. So you might see as I'm placing things in, I'm trying to do them in odd numbers so that it looks a little more chic. Again, we eat with our eyes first, so it's always great to make sure that you're making everything look just as beautiful as it will taste. We can do some large whole nuts. Open Nature pecans are one of my favorites. I absolutely love pecans. You could also do walnuts, you could do almonds. All of these also are a healthy choice. You know, the fresh produce, the tomatoes, the nuts, some blackberries and fruit. A party doesn't have to be unhealthy, sugary types of foods. You can make choices that are beautiful, but that are also healthy and good for us. Yes, do we have another question?
Yes, this question is from Mike. Are these easy to make gluten-free?
They are. They're very, very easy to make gluten-free. You know, if you're having a party, even if you don't have any gluten-free in your family or your neighborhood, it's nice to offer some things because you don't always know who's coming, especially at the holidays. There's a lot of house guests that might come. So gluten-free has gotten easier and easier and easier. If you're making charcuterie or charcuterie, make gluten-free crackers the priority, nuts, fruit, meats, cheeses, fresh produce and vegetables. Those are all gluten-free options. Now we're going to add in a little fresh herbs. This is sort of like a great way to get a little height coming up and out of your jars. We'll do a few sprigs in each. It's just like when we baked our cake. We garnished it with the fresh strawberries. We'll garnish our charcuterie with a little fresh herb. And not only do we have the thyme, but we can easily use as well fresh rosemary. Can you guys see this right here? We've got some delicious fresh rosemary. Rosemary is such a great garnish all year, but especially at the holidays, because what does it remind you of? It looks just like fresh pine. So it's really fun to tuck in. It's a great cocktail garnish. Another really beautiful little detail on top of a folded napkin. Right, we've added some of that in. Let's add in a little bit of blackberry. Again, these we could tuck in loose, or what could we do? We could skewer them to give ourselves a little height. Blackberries are always a great idea, party favorite, crowd pleaser. And look, they're nice and large, so they really kind of fill the jar very nicely. We have fresh figs. Figs are not always easy to find, but again, these were right in the produce aisle, right in the grocery. Look how beautiful those are. Let's tuck one of those right on the top. Great garnish. We could also do cucumbers. Cucumbers, you can buy the mini cucumbers. That's what we have here. Not a big cucumber, mini cucumber. And then you're just going to slice it in half. And then look, we can slice it in half one more time. We can tuck that right in. This is giving us height, but it's also giving us a lot of color. And we have so much more that we're not even getting to. I want to save time for all of your questions. There's whole primo, taglio, delicious salami and cheese and cracker, but not just any cracker, really beautiful little circular crackers that look very special. You could take a honeycomb and you could slice slices of honeycomb, just like a cheese, and tuck those right in. There's Parmesan cheese that's shaved. You can take some of these big shaved pieces and tuck these right in. We have to make sure we get a little cheese in there. And last but not least, I'm going to show you one last bit. You can add olives, you can add marinated mushrooms, but this is a really fun last garnish. Here we've got a wheel, a brie, or camembert, whichever you like better. We've got a knife, and we're just going to slice a beautiful little triangular wedge. And then this little guy, right there, can get a little slice, just like so with a knife, and then this can be your garnish right off the side of your jar. So we've got one there. I'll do one more while I ask if anybody has any questions that we can help review and answer. And please feel free to send me any questions that you have. You can go to my Instagram, you can go to Facebook. I'm Debi Lilly. I will happily help answer questions. I spend a lot of time every single day helping all of our Albertsons customers with questions, with ideas, finding products, talking about ideas and trends. A lot of our really great product ideas have come from all of you guys, letting us know what you need, what you love, what you can't find. And so please, let's talk. Let's be friends, and you can share and ask, and I will always respond and help give you some great information. Yes, do we have another question?
Two quick questions.
Okay.
Do you use any kind of silverware with your charcuterie?
You know what? With the charcuterie, you really don't need to. This is designed so that it's a finger food, which is great. Not everybody has 40 forks or 40 spoons when they're entertaining. So anything that's finger friendly is a great way to shortcut your menu as you're putting it together, as you're shopping the aisles at Albertsons. Look for something like this that's finger friendly, and then you don't have to worry about cutlery or silverware.
And this is the last question I have. What has been the most meaningful element of your 10-year relationship with Albertsons?
Okay, without a doubt, I didn't even have to think about it, and I've never thought about this before. It is the people. Hands down, it's the people, not only the team at Albertsons that I've been working with since the very first email or phone call that I received. It was a phone call, I had to think for a second, asking if I would consider working with them, which was literally a dream come true. I am getting teary just talking about it. And then number two, on the other side, it's all of you, the customers. I've made incredible friends that I talk to all the time, bloggers, customers, neighbors. I live in Chicago, and I also live on Nantucket, so it's Jewel for me in Chicago, and it's Shaw's Star Market here in Massachusetts and Cape Cod, and you all become friends. And the team that I work with inside Albertsons is like family. All of you, when we get to know each other and help each other and share ideas all the time, become family. And the flowers are incredibly beautiful, and designing products is a dream, but the people is definitely hands down the best. Did we get through all the questions? Everybody, I hope you had fun. It went by like that. I thought that this would last a little longer, but poof, we're done. One more question.
Aaron has a question. I've always cut my flowers in running water. Since you didn't, which way is better?
If you can cut them in running water, great. You can't always do that. I'm a florist. I design hundreds of centerpieces at a time for a big wedding. So we often have to work in a space more like we are here on top of a table. If you can cut them underwater, a big bucket with water, a big pan with water, even better. If you can cut them under running water at your sink, even better, because that's instantly fusing them with water. But if you can't, and I want to give everybody practical advice, when you cut them, just like we did tonight, instantly put them into water. Don't let them sit out of water. Don't cut them and then let them sit. Cut them and put them right into water, and they will do really well. And I want to remind you with one last tip. I'm all about the tips. And that is that, don't forget, there's a For You offer for all of you that is $2 off Debi Lilly Design. And if you are a Fresh Pass subscriber, $10 off Debi Lilly Design. And we want to make sure that you hurry to clip those and redeem those before December 18th, which, by the way, is next Saturday. Poof, I don't know how it's December 18th next Saturday, but so many of our Debi Lilly Design products are $5, $10, $20. We work really, really hard to have almost the entire collection in the under $20 sweet spot or price point. So please use those coupons and head right to your Albertsons and visit with your local store and tell our team how we're doing and share all of your ideas and feedback. The store managers always tell me every single day what people are saying, what people are buying, what people like, what people don't like. All those things are incredibly important. And I hope you have the most happy holidays. Hope you're surrounded with a lot of love and support. And again, I look so forward to seeing what you create. Please share all of your ideas that you might make at home with your loved ones that we've learned tonight. You can use hashtag Debi Lilly Design, hashtag FreshPass, and I hope we see you again really soon. Thank you so much. Happy holidays.